Hello, guys. So I'm coming out real quick this morning, hopefully. But I really wanted to just encourage us in this area. First of all, I want to share a testimony. So, God is a just God, but God is teaching us how just He is, or is teaching me how just He is, right? And I want to mention that um, my husband or my family, but I'm going to refer to my husband and I have been dealing with, I'm going to call this a very unjust situation that is unfair. You know, when something is done and it's rather unfair, right? And you are holding on to your rights because you know you have been dealt with unfairly, right? That is the situation. And as we're holding on to our rights, it puts us in control of the fight. But not only does it put us in control of the fight instead of the Father, but what it does, we are now in control because we're holding on to our rights. And we become so physical, obviously, because we're not letting God fight the battle, or we're not fully, let me put it this way, not that we're not letting God fight our battle, but we are not surrendering fully. Does that make sense? And what had happened was that as we begin to hold on to our rights, and so we might forgive and say we're going to move on, trying to let go, but decide to move on even before the heart is at the point of fully letting go. Have you ever been there? Like you know what to do, you understand what to do. So what happened is that you can move into performance because you know what to do and you know what is expected. So you can move into performance, right? And also too is that you you physically get it done. But as the Lord, when I this morning I get up and I said, God, give me an understanding of why I'm praising you. Give me a timeline. Walk me. Somebody said, draw back the curtain of memory. Show me, God, where you have come through. Show me where it has been you all along and not just me and not just a good day and not just an opportunity, but where it was intentionally you. And I know the overall context of the matter that everything is God, and I understand those kind of things, but walking through that, right? And the Lord begin, when I look back, it just dawned on me that the moment you released, get me now, the moment you have released your rights and let it go, give it to God, give it to God. In your spirit, it turned. The moment I released, we released it. I got it in my spirit and I said, oh my goodness, we have been letting go. We have been giving so much. We have been doing, we have, it almost feels like, oh my goodness, Jesus, where does it stop? And the Lord said, I hear in my spirit, give this. And I said, I don't know, but I give this, but the person, but this, but that, and I could give everything as why not to. And then I said, even God, if I believe that this is where you're leading me, I still have my husband that I know have to make the proposal to. What do you think in this regards, husband? And as soon as we released it, heaven opened up. We don't give it yet physically, but it's like we wrote an empty IOU, not an empty IOU. We wrote a promise note. And because we released it in the spirit, it was already released. What you bind on earth is bind in heaven. What you loose on earth is loose in heaven. We have already given it in the spirit. And woo! Heaven leaned in. And as a result, I am seeing, and I'm like, whoa, God, this is what happened. It's almost like overwhelmingly things just start happening. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. What happened, God? Because something changed, something happened, something shift. But that was what it is. We released it in the spirit. And the Lord said, that's what happened. It didn't come into manifestation in the earth yet, but you released it. You guys have released it in the spirit. We don't physically say, here is the bottle of water. But we have agreed that as soon as the bottle of water drop in our hands, it's yours. And heaven lean into that. And we're like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I just wanted to share that with you. There are times when, and I'm telling you that this is beyond an extra, because we have already given of ourselves, because it would have been quite all right and the Christian thing to just meet the requirements. But God just put a test and said, can you go further than what is required? Can you do a little bit more? Can you release and even give up your rights? Because I'm a just God. And you're not losing, you're winning. Can I say that to somebody today? I know you have given up so much, but God is looking. Can you go beyond the expectation, beyond just meeting the requirements, beyond just filling the quota? Okay, well, they want me to do that. I'll do that. Okay, I'm just gonna do that. Okay, God asked me to forgive. I'm just gonna forgive. That's it. That's it. I don't have to give you a bottle of water. I don't have to speak to you ever again. But I've forgiven you. God said, no, not only do I want you to forgive, but I want you to do and do and do. He said, God, I don't have to do that. I never even used to do that before this came up. But God said, I want to know where your heart is. Not in terms of performance, because you could give all that and your heart is already holding. But because you released it in the spiritual, not as a performance, because you released it unto me, because you have given it even before you get it. You have given it. Then it's already done. And heaven begin to lean in on a way that you never could have quantified, calculated, expected, or even perceived. Won't he do it?